Great, well thank you guys all so much for coming out tonight. We're here to celebrate Frederico Torres' excellent exhibition.
Thank you everybody for coming.
And we are recording for the internet, so if you don't mind silencing your cell phones, that would be excellent. If you don't know, my name is Christina Brill. I'm the curator here at Art Center Sarasota. And I have known Freddie actually since we installed Hobbies exhibition in this very space 3 years ago. And it's been just such a pleasure getting to know you and your work. So congratulations on the show. And if you guys don't mind giving a big round of applause for for those of the audience that don't know you as well as some of us, you're originally from Brazil. What was it like growing up in Sao Paulo?
São Paulo is pretty much, I think, like almost 14 million people live in there. Bigger than New York, but it's pretty much that vibe. New York in South America, I'll say that. Crazy, loud, artistic, dangerous, everything together. So I like it because São Paulo is a little bit chaotic, and for artists I think that's good. You gotta live in the edge with danger and love. I think that's kind of healthy for us. So I like it.
I grew up in New York, so I feel it. And you actually were studying advertising when you were in college down there. How did photography become your main mode of expression?
So, my first year I didn't know anyone there, and next to my class, I had the photography class, where I started to, from off, like being friends with people from the next room, and we started to hang out. And after a while, I did pretty much like 6 months of photography, just like the standard, the basics. And I pretty much, I started to like it because my friends there. So that's fun because these days, most those are not photographers. And they like, Freddy, oh my God, man, like, what you did? You came like with no intention, and you are the one now doing photography for you. So it's kind of like that.
It's so funny because photography is such a solitary process, and yet you found a big community there in the photography group.
Yes and no. I don't think like it's always like something like solitude, because really depends like what you're doing. Like if you do portraits, for example, you gotta connect with people. Even in my case in nature, sometimes I don't connect with people, but I connect pretty much with everything around. I feel actually the camera gave me the power to connect more in life. That's for sure.
That's awesome. So how did you end up moving to the US?
That time after I finished my college, I was electronic engineer. I was pretty much tired to have the same life every day that time. And I said to myself, well, I need change. I need to go somewhere, learning English first, because I want to travel and I want to see out there. And that time was something really far from me. Like, even my dad used to say, Fred, wake up, stop to dream. Like, what do you talk about? Go work. And I said, well, you know what, I'm not gonna go. I think like I left electronic engineer, I was working for 8 years. And I said, no, I'm gonna stop with this. I wanna learn English. I was going to Australia or Ireland for learning for 1 year, no more than that. And I was in a bar, and after that, I met Brazilians. We are pretty much friendly, and in drinking even more. So I was in a bar and I met somebody, and we started talking and hanging out. And after that, I was like going out with him like 2 or 3 weeks in a row. And then he asked me, he said, Freddy, my dad lives in Sarasota. You can stay there for 6 months for free if you want. And you can study, go there first and try. And that's what I did. At first, I didn't like the idea to come to Sarasota. I didn't know nothing about Sarasota. just because I was really like, oh my god, I want to go to Australia, I want to surf, I want to be the guy, you know. But I came to Sarasota, and I feel like my first 2 weeks here, my life already connected right away. I met my wife, I met friends, even I always had the dream you work with art, and I met Javi. We worked together for 5 years, I think so. So I learned a lot about art, and I got married, and my life changed. Yes. So, and I'm still here. So
you've definitely been very lucky. Hi, Glenn. What do you think some of the biggest challenges have been since you've gotten here and since you've taken on with your artistic career?
Like the challenge being an artist?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like if you, that's kind of, let's say, I feel like to be an artist, it can be tricky, because first you gotta kind of learn how to deal with your emotions. Being an artist is all about emotions and feelings and everything. I feel like this is the biggest challenge for sure. Sometimes people say, oh, the biggest challenge maybe it is sell art. Can be, it is one too. But being an artist, like, feel all everything and try to translate that in something. It is a process. It is for me, I think that was a challenge, and it's still. But it is also fun. Like, I feel like art invites you to live in different way. Arts make you look to the left or to the right and see every day different stuff. I don't know. Every day is different, for sure.
And COVID was a very transformational time for you as
well. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Like in every aspect, because that time I lost my mom, but not from COVID. She kind of passed away like in the beginning of COVID, and the COVID hit too at the same time. So I was pretty much in my house, like in my room, feeling everything like was terrible. So I told myself, well, now it is the time to figure out. I need to understand life in different levels, because if I don't do that, I'm not gonna do good. I'm not gonna make. And I feel like I used to say, like, my mom gave me a birth, she gave me a life, and after she passed, she gave me another life, because I understood. So.
That's awesome. Well, so we're looking at dreamscapes right now, and it's a very transcendental sort of body of work. Can you walk us through your creative process and how you create these photographs?
So for these pictures, I don't have like one specific way to do it, but pictures like that, for example, the dunes took me like almost 3 years to make that ready. And I haven't knows because we always talk, and sometimes it's just the crop, it is missing, or it is something missing. So my process is pretty much, I never go for a beautiful picture. I don't consider myself like a landscape photographer, because I don't go for like, oh, I need to bring this beautiful place in my picture. It is about pretty much like how I feel too. So usually I go, I take the picture, I sit, I connect with the place, and I save the picture with me. And in some point, I'm gonna wake up and say, oh my God, I know what to do with that. So pretty much every picture here I was made in different time. I never made pretty much like 3 or 4 in a row. The idea just came and yeah.
Well, I love, we were talking the other day and you had this great comment. You said that you have no responsibility to reality in your work. And I would love for you just to elaborate a little bit about that.
Well, because sometimes it's too hard for me when people ask me, are you a photographer? And say, yes, I'm a photographer. But pretty much I use the camera as a tool. Because I know there's many kinds of photographers. And for me, like, well, when people ask, oh, but this is Photoshop or real? What is this? So Photoshop is pretty much like my tool. Like, that's how I draw my art, like painters, for example. Yeah, it's kind of. Let me try to think here because it's kind of. I lost my.
Well, so, I mean, your work, it really balances this.
Okay, no, sorry. Okay. So, I told myself from the beginning, I don't want to do pictures, and I love paintings, but I don't need to do paintings because I use my camera. I pretty much want to be between painting and photography. So, every time people see my work, they're gonna ask like, what is this? Is this painting? This is photography? What is this? Because the dreamscape is pretty much is nothing you can find here, and maybe it's nothing you can find in the spiritual world. It's pretty much something in between. It is pretty much a mix of feelings and nature.
So how do you decide how much to manipulate the image once you have it?
Well, it goes pretty much like how I'm feeling about that. Like all my pictures probably came from my meditation process or dreams. So if I take a picture, like that one for example, I took that picture, and when I saw those two white trees there with those trees, another trees in the background, I already knew what it was because that was in my heart already. And I felt like, oh my God, you know, the space between is pretty much the limbo between Earth and where we are now. So in that case, I mean manipulate a little bit more because need to be between, like what is real or not real. So I pretty much go by feeling. That's when I stop.
And a lot of the feeling that you're getting is from actually traveling. You're so lucky, you travel the world. How do you know when you've found the right environment to photograph?
I like to say art or my art never starts in nature or never starts out or it starts inside me. So how do I know when the place makes sense? Because somehow that place it is inside me already. I love to meditate. I love to be inside my thoughts and my creations. So when I go to a place like that, when I see that one cloud there, really clean, feels just like me with my thoughts, you know, like that's it. So I know, like I say, oh my God, that's me. That's like looking in the mirror, no? I'm not looking for a good picture. The picture just came to me because it is inside me already, somehow.
You've also talked a lot about, spending significant time in the place that you're at and connecting with the energy of the place. And how does that, translate into the final composition that we're seeing here today?
Yes, I really like, I don't like to travel and go to a place and stay there 3 or 4 days. Usually when I go to a place, even my wife says sometimes like, oh my God, what are you going to stay 1 month? 3 weeks? Even half sometimes we play because we work together, and he's not coming back anymore. Because like I'm not looking for a good picture. Sometimes you gotta feel the place, and feel the place. You cannot go as a tourist. I'm sorry, but you gotta go. You gotta somehow blend with people, and you realize you are part of that when people don't see you there anymore. When you kind of blend. So when I feel blended, when I feel kind of local, let's say that, that's when like I'm sure I'm already connecting enough to start to look for pictures. So pretty much that's why I like to connect first. And it is also respectful, in my opinion. If you're a photographer, if you go somewhere and you are taking that picture from somebody or from somewhere, you gotta be respectful, in my opinion. That's not just put there, you know what I mean, take, and it's almost stealing, that's how I feel. So, for me it's more poetic, I like to ask permission first.
Well, you're clearly, you're at the beach, you're in the mountains, you're in the forest, the desert. Is there one place in particular that you feel really drawn to spiritually?
I don't know if I have one place in specifically because I feel like every place is so different. Like the ocean bringing me one kind of healing and feelings. when I'm in the forest, it's other too, and in the desert for sure is so different. But let's say for dreamscape, probably the desert was more intense for me, because it is when you really see yourself like as you are. It's intense. The desert doesn't say a lot, but at the same time says everything. Doesn't need trees or a lot of stuffs around. The desert is so simple and so full of everything. I mean, super rich in my opinion. I like.
Well, it's so interesting because we have a lot of burnt umber, orange kind of colors, and a lot of blue. But even in the forest, there's no green. The only green really is in the siesta water over here. So I'm wondering, like, are some of these colors speaking to you more than others?
Maybe. I'm not sure, but maybe unconsciously, maybe yes. Good question. Don't have any greens here. Maybe I should look for greens. But no, yeah, nothing. I don't know if I have a favorite color, let's say that. But probably because I was spending more time in like desert place, like Utah or Morocco. Yeah, and they don't have trees.
Well, you described to me that you feel like nature's energy is in its colors. And, I'd love for you to just talk a little bit about how you see that bridge between the color and the emotion and the feeling, the spirituality of the place.
This one is really hard to describe because it's pretty much more about feelings. If I try to describe it, probably my work it would be the best way to see that. But I feel like it has many ways to feel nature for sure. In my opinion, nature is the healing process. It is the school. That's where even if you don't ask and you don't know, if you sit in nature for 3 days, you're gonna feel better already, and you don't know why. Nature has that kind of energy, and through colors, because I'm a visual guy. I love colors. That's pretty much what I see more in nature. So the blend of the sky, how the sky starts really blue and it blends, and it starts to get yellowish, and then it almost goes and touches the ground like brownish and goes on to start to be green from the trees. So for us, maybe for most people, you go and you see those like green, blue. But for me, it's pretty much I see everything connect. Kinda, I don't know the word in English, when you have those colors.
Ombre?
Yes. No, it has another name, like when you have like...
Gradation?
Yeah, exactly. Gradation. So nature is all about gradation, in my opinion. It's like
Well, the work is also, there's sort of an element of solitude and isolation in the work. Do you think that your time alone in nature is deepening your understanding of yourself, or how is this like introspection kind of reflective in the work?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like I like to say like an artist is not a guy who makes art specifically, because an artist, that's pretty much how you live and how you are inside. The art is the final product, but when I go to nature in those places, when I feel solitude, that's pretty much when I block all the noise from society and everything, and I can just have more pay attention to me. That's why I like a desert actually, because I feel like just me right there and nothing around. Feels like all the energy and everything around, it is concentrated just in me there. So it's pretty much easier if I want to go deeper inside me to figure out something. In nature, I can get there. It's much easier than maybe here with noise and distraction. Or maybe energy too, I don't know. Nature is really special for me. That's how I see it. And whatever I want to do in nature and whatever, always my wife knows, like, if I'm going like something heavy in my mind, and if I have something bothers me, I say, okay, I need to go camp. I need to go camp. Because that's pretty much where I can find myself easy. That's the best therapy for me.
Do you enjoy traveling most with other people, with friends, family, or by yourself?
Pretty much by myself. Pretty much definitely by myself when I go for picture, 100%. But I like to collaborate with another artist too. And if it's not photography, it's even better. But if it is photography, it works too. But like if you are a sculptor or painter or dancer or whatever, I like to see art from another one in different ways. I think that's cool.
So can you tell us a little bit about how the light and composition play a role in creating these photographs?
To be honest, I'm not super worried about lighting in my pictures because again, I feel like if I have something inside, if I have the idea inside, and I go to that picture in Brazil with the cloud, that was like 1 o'clock. It's probably the worst time for photography. If you're a photographer, you know. But that was a perfect moment for the picture. So. And that one next in Morocco was 6:30 in the morning. The sun was rising. It was pretty much dark. So that was perfect, right there. Pretty much because the moment. If I go for something specific, I'm probably gonna go for maybe morning or sunset. That's where you play safe with photography. But in general, I feel like if you're doing art, that's nothing to do with lighting. It's pretty much if you have something here already. Yeah.
So you mentioned a little bit earlier that dreams play a big part in your creative process. So what do you do with your dreams, and how do you think they impact the way you finally compose these images after your editing?
Well, I have a little book next to me because I love to dream. I dream almost every day and I do my notes there because I really believe somehow, unconsciously, somebody's talking to us through dreams. I believe that. Not everyone, but it is out there. And for some of my pictures, before or after, I don't have one here. It is probably one of the beautiful one. I really like it. My grandpa used to have a farm, and he has a beautiful tree, like a beautiful tree there. And 2 years ago, I went there and I took the picture from the tree, and I didn't know what to do. Definitely, I didn't know what to do. But the picture was beautiful. But I didn't want just something beautiful. I just wanted something meaning. And after probably 6 months or 7 months, I had a dream with him. He was talking to me in the dream like, "Oh, Freddy, can you take a picture of that tree, my tree, like I used to love? And can you make that for me?" So after that, I wake up and I knew what to do with the picture because my grandpa was talking to me there. And yeah, it's pretty much like that. Sometimes I dream in the place and I try to make that in my pictures. That's why my pictures also has the kind of dreamy vibes.
Yeah, so there's definitely an element of sort of the surreal or the dreamscape. Who are some artists that have influenced your sort of composition or your intention with the work?
Well, that's hard to because I'm not sure if I have a name, an artist, like I say, oh my god, this is my inspiration. But the first one was Salvador Dali, and pretty much because he used to like play with dream and subconscious. But to be honest, like I was talking to another day, I feel like my biggest inspiration in life for photography is nature. Like nature, it is my artist. Because when I go to nature and I see stuff like what I see, I just don't believe. I say, oh my god, how can it be so perfect? When you see that bird with 5 colors and you don't realize how that can be possible. All those little fishes, or when you go to dunes in Morocco and you see that beautiful and the sun hits and the shade and the red kind of changes everywhere. So that's where I learned actually. I feel like nature is the number one for me, for sure.
And clearly, spirituality and meditation played a huge role in your work. Do you have a daily process or practice for your meditation?
No, I don't consider myself I don't have any religion. I believe in God, but I do like in my way. I try to really listen to me and feel I go by that. So my meditation comes and goes pretty much when my body asks. That's not like Sunday, 5 o'clock, I gotta put my yoga pants and my incense. No, I don't have the ritual, you know what I mean? It's just, sometimes like Jen, she comes to my office like 11:30, like, what are you doing? Come to the bed. They say, well, I want to do my meditation. So, like, doesn't matter. Like, I do when I need it.
Are there any places here at home in Sarasota that are sort of your safe or your meditative spaces?
No, I don't think so. In nature, no. I feel like my place for meditation, special place, it is in the corner of my room, pretty much. That's where I lock my door and I just try to stay there. Or when I have a chance, for sure, I go to camp, and can be anywhere, doesn't matter. So I don't have like a specific place I'd like to go. But it's funny you ask, because in Brazil I used to have.
Oh.
Yeah, in Brazil I used to have, but not here.
But you told me you weren't even meditating back then.
Well, no, actually maybe unconsciously, it was a place I used to go, grab my beer, and just stay there like, okay, now what am I gonna do? What am I supposed to do now? Yeah.
That's meditation.
That's meditation, right?
So I'd love to talk a little bit about the piece over here, Sculptures of Infinity, and some of the more subtle symbolism or compositional elements that are in there. What can you tell us about that piece?
Well, that piece actually I really like it. It's pretty much like probably one of those pieces I really love it, because like nature for me is really female, and I almost can see like a female body there. It's so feminine. I don't know. That's me. I don't know. So I really like it because it's so simple, but at the same time it has everything. Right? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, so that one is very supple. There's a lot of movement going on and gesture. And then over here, this piece is much more architectural. So you're seeing so many different things in your work.
Exactly, yeah. That piece, that day actually, I fall in love with those birds because they have a nest pretty much closed and they was protecting the nest and always walking together. So really caught my attention like the partnership between both and they being together. And then when I saw those lines pretty much straight, I said, oh my god, that place, Lençóis Maranhenses in Brazil, if you guys don't know. You can see right there actually, right now. It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Like, unbelievable.
So we were just looking at the video. You have taken up using drone footage a lot.
Mm-hmm.
How has that influenced your creative process?
Influenced a lot actually, because I feel like in my eyes I like to say like I can see almost everything. And from here, like from where I can see, from my height, I have a lot of imagination already. But at some point, I always dream flying. In my dreams, I'm always flying, so I can see from above. And I start to like ask myself, oh my god, I want to see from there. I have that picture, but I want to see from there too. And somehow I was looking already. I don't know how. So I bought the drone because I just want to make sure, like, okay, that's what I'm seeing now. It was pretty much like complement my photography somehow. Yeah.
So do you think your spirit animal is like a hawk or an eagle or something?
Maybe. I hope it's not cheating, but
So we mentioned briefly your interest in the female body, and next in your work you're thinking about exploring, the feminine energy in nature.
Yeah.
What's going on with this new direction in your work?
Well, I'm still like processing and learning about, but like I'm gonna say female, like women in general for me are really special. We always talk right now about stuff like that. Not like because I don't believe men, us are not special, but I feel like I was talking to myself another day like Even muscles, if you think about why men has muscle, maybe because gravity hits us in different way. I don't know. But it feels like women, they are like cats, you know. They don't feel gravity like us. They go more smooth. It's just art, right? Somehow, like, and I did like couple works already, couple pictures, like with like the female like composition in the nature, and I just love it because for me, like, the women are so close to nature, and nature for me is mother nature, right? It's female. And one more time, even God, like when sent like some souls from there, it is through women. Like women is the bridge of the creation. I don't know. It is has something there. So I wanna explore. I wanna get more close to this feeling, like female and nature together, and see what happens.
I look forward to seeing it. So we've talked a lot about your sort of spirituality and meditation. You have expressed interest to me in becoming more of a mentor later in life, maybe. What role do you see in helping other artists or just humans in general?
No, I feel like usually in my trips, that's why I like to go alone, solo in my trips too, because you're never alone. When you go by yourself, you connect with so much people. And in my trips, even before I speak English, I remember, was like a girl from Austria, and she, at the same time, felt good with me, and she was talking to me, and she was opening her heart. I don't know what she said, but I understood everything. And I think she, you know, like she was, I feel like I kind of always was kind of good with people somehow. He listened and tried empathy maybe. I like to practice empathy every day and try to be better. Because I want to help definitely more. Maybe through my work or not, or just talking, drinking, it doesn't matter how. Yeah, I feel maybe my call at some point.
Well, you'll have to do a lecture here when you're ready. So you're a world traveler, you're heading to Brazil actually at the end of the month. What other foreign destinations are on the docket?
I don't have nothing planned for real, but I really want to go to Mongolia. Just because, I don't know, it has something calling me. And I want to go alone to Mongolia, that's for sure.
Alone?
Yeah. I want to be with those, you know, those guys with those little horses and those eagles, and it's beautiful. Like, has something there, I don't know.
It's the history there that inspires you?
The history, definitely, I love history, but I don't try to, not before I go, I don't try to learn a lot about history, because I don't want to block myself with connections. Like, if they are racist, or if they are this, or if I don't really want to get information I don't need it, because I'm pretty much more worried about the real connection, you know what I mean? Nature, and those guys there, and that's it. I feel like in my case, for what I do, if I know less, it is good. I just need to know enough to make it, that's all. Because everything's going to be building every day there, little by little.
Well, the show, I mean, it's beautiful. Everyone that comes in sees it. It's just totally inspired and taken with the photographs. Before we open it up for some Q&A, I know that peace is something you're hoping for the viewer to take away, but is there anything else that you hope our viewers will take away from this body of work?
Well, I really like it. When I was doing those pictures, I was in the process like to learn about myself and find peace, and I really found it actually. So I feel like my pictures, they may look good, but that's not the point. I really like, if you ask me, I really like when somebody comes and see, I like to them to feel the peace I was feeling when I did that. That's all about feel good for me, my peace. That's a good feeling. You look and you don't know why you like, but if you feel good, that's the goal.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Freddie. So I know we have multiple photographers in the room. Any photography questions to start?
Photographer?
I grew up in a photography studio, but I've been staring at this one the whole time. So when you saw the dog, was that what kind of To that photograph.
So that picture, that dog was there pretty much, I'll say, to be honest, maybe 87, 90% red in the sky, because I saw like, and I said, oh my God, it's a dog. It's a dog. For sure the sky wasn't blue like that. That's why I like to play like with colors and the dream effect. But that dog, the photo, was just like that. The clouds under was just like that. I was like at the Siesta Key beach actually.
Oh, wow.
And it looks like I'm so high there, right, from an airplane or something, but no. That's kind of funny too, because when people ask me that, I say, oh my God, it kind of looks like it was from an airplane. But no.
It was kind of rolling it at the time.
Yeah, I was like with my 200 millimeters, the lens, so the lens kind of has the power to bring the image like close to you. So yeah, it was pretty much that.
That's nice.
Thank you, man.
These pictures, do you do more than one, or are they unique? Are they the only ones? Or?
I do more than one. Most of those here is supposed to be like 30.
30?
I do, yeah, no more than that.
No more.
No more. But I have like one collection in specific, like for some reason, places I went, and it's just one. Like, yeah.
Not me. Maybe you.
I don't have a photography question. What strikes me is there's this lovely magical realism that is so evident in the literature from South America and the maybe influence of Spain, Portugal on that culture, and it comes out in what you're saying, and it strikes me that that is a theme or a presentation that the West doesn't express in the same way.
Oh.
And so it's quite beautiful to hear you speak, because it is, to me, a personification of what that literature, what that cultural feeling is in South America.
That's cool. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nice observation.
Well, first question is, have you ever camped in the primitive area in Mayaca?
No.
No?
No. I have been in Mayaca just hiking, walk, but never camping. Why? Should I go? Like, yes? Okay. I'll check. It's right here, right? Like, yeah. Yeah.
It's magical.
Really?
But get into the primitive area where you have to check in with the rangers.
Oh, okay. So that's the same place where it's supposed to have like a lot of gators too? Or
Yes.
because that's
Don't
what.
go during July.
Ah, they said that. I think they close actually, right?
Sometimes, it depends on how wet it is.
Okay,
But
because.
it's stunning, the night sky is.
And the sky in Florida is
It's
amazing,
stunning.
right?
It's old Florida.
Okay.
You'll see why people here.
No, I'm gonna go. Definitely. Thank you for reminding me that.
So my question about photography is, as a photographer myself, how do you keep your library of images?
Like where I save, like physically?
Yeah, for you, do you save it by the location? Like for the dudes, you said it was like 3 years in processing. So as you're going through modifying it and getting to the point where it finally speaks to you, or you speak to it, how do you catalog that?
So I have like a file called trips and names of the countries.
Okay.
And I also have, for example, like a little file there with like dreamscape name. So I am terrible with memory in general, but with stuff like this I'm pretty good. So I probably have more than 10,000 pictures from place. And if that day I wake up and say, oh my God, I need to do that with that picture I did in Morocco, I remember. So I go there because she's still raw, and I start to work. And as I start to work, I already moved that to the dreamscape like concept idea. So I try to save like
Do you save all of the iterations there, or when you like go in, you're like, this is better, do you get rid of the old?
I should save everything, but I don't, because usually what I
know,
do,
it gets
yeah,
overwhelming,
like
right?
usually I do, like I start to work in something, and then I stop, and I leave there, and I come back like later. So it's still like one file, you know, I'm building there, it's not like 2 or 3 pictures. So I don't have, I should have actually maybe the first one and the last one, because some pictures like what I did, I don't even remember, I don't even know how I did in the software, in the Photoshop. If you ask me, Fred, can you teach me how you did this? I have no idea. I just go and I start to play with tools. No, that's not what I want. And then that's why I used to love talk with Javi, because he's a painter. And I said, well, I need some painter's skills. And I was looking like his paintings and other stuff. And I was trying just to, okay, I want to try to get this in my pictures. How I do that? It's pretty much trying and fighting with the tool. It's not constantly like.
I feel so much better.
Yeah, it's good. Well, some pictures took me years, and like my wife knows, like the best time for me is like 1 or 2 in the morning, late night. Like I love to be.
Yeah.
That's my desert. That's when everybody's sleeping and I cannot hear nothing. Yeah,
We're kind of halfway answered that
No.
too, but I was thinking there's such a big difference, like you said that being an artist is more of a state of being, and producing the art was kind of secondary, which a lot of people talk about editing being secondary. When you're going through that process, do you feel like it brings you back what you found when you were out there? Is that something you're taking back with you and then experiencing in your office while you're producing these works?
Yes or no. Yes or no, because sometimes when I'm in nature, I'm pretty much asking myself, like, what? Like, and now? And then I see something, I feel connected with something, I do the picture, I take the picture. And when I come back to my office, sometimes I'm gonna work in that picture 6 months later, 1 year later, that happened before, 1 year later. And I make another one already. So what means, when I start to work in that picture, I remember the day, I look for some elements from the day, but it's pretty much more to, because I don't want to lose what the picture is. I like to remember what the picture is. I like to be respectful with the place and where I was. I don't like to change colors, like, oh, I want to make the sky pink or the sky green. That's not like what I like to do, because that's not what I saw there. So I like to come back. I do like my meditation there. I come back. And I'm like, oh my God, I start to remember feelings and smells. For me, like smells and how you feel, that's the best way to connect memory. How you feel is the best way, actually. So I go through there and I start to work in the picture, and I never know what's gonna happen, I promise you. I just start, and then some point you're like, oh my God, this looks fucking good. And then I call my wife, she's the first one. Did you like it? Come here, sit. Now you gotta sit, and did you like it? I call Hab sometimes too. Like say, hey Hab, what do you think? Like, do you like it? What do you feel? And now, like, she asked me, like, do you use AI? I don't use AI to modify my picture to create something that's not there. But weirdly enough, I use AI to make questions. For example, how do you feel with this? That's crazy. Try that one day if you have something in mind. Like, what do you see here? Just like that. And that one specifically, I said, wow, this is really poetic, all those lines, and it is ethereal, how you try to show, and the female, I said, oh my God. That's scary, right? Yeah, but yeah, that's how I like to connect and create.
These are absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
Okay, there's no doubt about it. I wonder if there's part of you, obviously in photography, we're selecting from amongst all the things that are out there, what it is that we want to see or we want to represent. And what you've chosen to represent here is very beautiful. Is there a part of you that wants to represent maybe the things that are not so beautiful, that mankind has changed, you know, the giant caterpillar tractor that's in the middle of this mess? art, those sort of things. Is there any part of you that wants to do that? First of all, and the second question is 133 billion photographs made each year. How do you keep yourself out in front of that?
Sorry, I didn't understand the second question.
There's so many photographies out there, so many photographs out there. How do you keep yourself above that or below it or wherever you want to be
Well,
in that group?
that's a good
the second
question.
question though.
Yeah, I'm going to start with the second, and maybe I ask again for the first.
Okay, I hope I can say it again.
Yeah, like I said, my memory is good for many things, but some was. Yeah, that's a good one actually, because and now with the internet, when you go like in social media, you see so many great photographers, and this is so good. And at the same time, for me, it's a trap. It's a huge trap, because you're gonna compare yourself. If you, the artist, is compare yourself with others, it is wrong already. Because the art is not competition. First of all, these days we try to make money with art, but art has nothing to do with money. Art is just all about feelings. That's how you feel, how you process something. I try to don't look almost nothing, to be honest. That's why I don't have maybe an artist who I try to follow and try to picture that. So, and that's why I don't try to learn crazily about the country, because when you have a lot of information, that information can be a trap too, can block you from something it's gonna happen there. So I try to go as pure like I can, if it is possible. And the first question, sorry.
The first question was that the photographs that you do are very beautiful. You've selected for things that are beautiful and progressed with that. I wonder if there's a part of you that would like to maybe expose those things that are not so beautiful in our culture. Photography makes everything beautiful, including wartime, all kinds of poverty and everything else. It makes it beautiful. And that's not really what they are, from my point of view. So do you have any interest in doing that as part of your future photography?
Maybe, yeah, that's a good one actually. For Dreamscape, no, because it was pretty much more me finding myself and reborn and feeling so good with everything. And I saw like how beautiful nature is. So I was pretty much in love with nature at that point. So try to show the beauty of nature in my case, how I did, was really important to me. But that can be a beautiful, like, I like to say, I have no like responsibility, nothing with beauty. I don't need to make nothing beauty. That's not the point actually. So show like something weird, I'm gonna call that, from nature. That can be beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Could I comment and say that I think Secret Place kind of fits that description? The one just behind them with the deteriorated tree stumps, and that's a result of the storm.
Well, and then that's gone now too, right?
I was almost saying that. I was driving one day, going to Longpole, and I saw a lot of trucks removing that. So you see, like for most people, that beach was dirty. Because when they saw that, I was like, oh my God, this is not a proper beach. Let's clean this and put some crystal sand and make it beautiful. So when I saw that, I thought like, oh my God, this is beautiful.
I thought that was...
This is art, nature.
That was off the coast of Charleston, because there's an entire island that looks like that.
No, it's here actually, going to Ana Maria. That bridge between Ana Maria and Longboat Key. Yeah, now they remove all that. Maybe I should raise the price now. Good business.
You always should raise the price.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Freddie, I have a question. The work that you want to start doing with the female form, are you including women, physical women
Yes,
in that too? Okay, so it is the juxtaposition between the female body and the landscape. Okay.
Yeah, I really want a female body, like, I want somebody there now, and nature, and see what happens.
Can I request something? I love the videos. I'd like the image to last just a little longer.
Yes.
I want to see more of it. I want to be able to be in it. Each scene. I mean, each scene is amazing.
That's true.
And that viewpoint is quite lovely. I love pictures of places around the world that use that technology, but I would love to
See more
give me a few more seconds.
Well, like
Make her swipe right.
when my wife saw, she said, Freddie, should you have more 2 seconds?
Yeah.
And I said, well, but it has already 5. And I don't know if people's gonna have patience to stop and look.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
I was trying to play between who doesn't have any patience with those, and I tried to stay in the middle. But I went with you. Like I can, for me, in my case, I can stay more. So definitely.
Okay, good. Because
Thank you.
they're
Thank
absolutely
you.
beautiful, and we have as a population gotten used to that world images that flow over and then repeat every 15 minutes. And say, well, try another one. Let's go to another place, but give me that beautiful.
No, that's
Sweet.
nice. That's a nice feedback. Thank you. And I really want to go to Australia. Remember you saying.
Yes, and I have to request that you go to Western Australia.
Okay.
I lived there for 15 years, and it's 3 microclimates. It's a jungle, a plains, and then a wine country in the south. It is really beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
I want to go, definitely. I want to go.
So Western Australia, everywhere is beautiful.
And I'm going to ask you again, so.
Okay,
I think
absolutely. I will write it down all day, because it is gorgeous, the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, he was talking to me that day, and I was like, and Australia was my first country to go to learn English, so.
Great.
Australia is calling me.
Great, you mentioned that you like to be in a place for a long period of time, 3 weeks a month. How often do you, or do you want to, say like hike the Appalachian Trail? So alone, on your own, for a long period of time, but that stretch of land, is that?
Yeah, like a Appalachian Trail, for example, it is something I really want to do at some point. And I feel like if I can do from the beginning to the end, I know it's like probably 5 months, I don't know, or maybe more. But that's a hard one because I don't know if I want to go alone or with an artist or a regular friend, or maybe I can start alone and Javi can fly and go out with me for 2 weeks. And then you can fly and walk with me for more 3 weeks.
Yes.
And this actually is a better idea.
Great idea.
Yeah, better idea.
Is Javi getting a commission on your work?
Well, you know, let me tell you something, you know me.
Well, any other questions for Freddie tonight?
I might have one question. I was curious about the, well, props to you for being brave enough to just jump in Photoshop and have at it. I was wondering about certain images like this one, the edge, the straight edges, like is that actually the landscape? Are you manipulating?
Yes, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, 100%.
I was curious about
No editing at all, like,
Right.
yes, this is unbelievable, you know. It's beautiful. So straight, right? Like.
Yeah.
And I have another pictures from that place. It looks like something. It's hard to say. It doesn't look like it's from here. All those straight lines, like.
Yeah.
That place is Lençóis Maranhenses. It's a huge park. I was walking. I crossed there. Like it took me 5 days walking to cross everything, and it's all about 6 months of the year has waters, and another 6 months is all dry and sand. That sand is the same sand from the ocean. It's not the same sand from the dunes. So it's heavier maybe.
Right.
And when the wind hits differently.
Yeah, to appreciate how what's going on, you really should see it close up.
Yeah, that place too, it is from Brazil, and look how straight it is.
I was going to comment about that one as well.
Yeah.
It was that one that was really.
It's from another place.
Yeah.
But it's still like, yeah, and that place is so crazy because it is around forest. A lot of forest, the jungle, and from nothing, the dunes there.
Wow.
From nothing.
Nature.
Yeah.
What is the name of that place?
That one? That one is Jalapão. They call it. Jalapão is a huge park. It's like, let's say, Moab. Jalapão.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.